When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube, and welcome back to the Grease Comedy YouTube channel. Today's video, we are going to be tackling the question of who is the Sons of the Harpy, or who specifically is leading them in this video. And we're going to try to figure out who that is. Is it Hizdahr, who Barristan and Shavepate kind of believe is the person in charge, or is it someone else kind of pulling the strings in the background? And yeah, so we're going to get into that into this video, but before we do, if you'd like to subscribe, like, and comment, please do to help channel grow, reach your people that might like this content. And we're pushing for 1,000 subscribers, so subscribe for more Song of Ice and Fire content. We're going to be doing, I think what I've determined, we're going to be doing a really big Wins of Winter prediction video for 1,000 subscribers, taking pretty much all of the main characters, all of the kind of minor characters you guys like, putting them into one video. It should be a long video, it should be good. But getting into the video for today, the Sons of the Harpy. Now, on the face value of it, Hizdahr looks pretty guilty. If you look at kind of the evidence that the Shavepate kind of tells Barristan, because not only is Shavepate trying to tell Barristan and convince Barristan that Hizdahr is not who he says he is, but he's also trying to convince us, the audience. We kind of go through his reasoning and why he believes that Hizdahr is kind of the Sons of the Harpy. And if you look at a lot of his reasoning, it makes sense. But personally, I don't really follow it. Right, so the information given here is that Hizdahr poisons the locusts when Dany, when she's in the fighting pit thing and Drogon shows up and she goes and, actually tames Drogon and rides Drogon. The locusts that were there to kind of feed Dany and Hizdahr are actually poisoned. Now we know this because, one of Dany's other protectors eats them and he actually has poisoning. Now the weird thing here is Hizdahr, 1, never eats them, and 2, Hizdahr seems really pushing for Daenerys to eat them. So it's an interesting dynamic there where, okay, why didn't Hizdahr eat them if he thinks they're so good? And 2, why was he pushing Dany to eat them? Now, his reasoning is he doesn't like hot and spicy stuff, and that he thought Daenerys might like them, which is a very loose reasoning for why he wouldn't eat them. But then you also have the idea that Hizdahr makes the promise that there's going to be no killings in the next, I don't remember how many days it is, but it's a certain amount of days, I think it's like 90 or something like that, where there are going to be no killings by the Sons of Harpy, and then, there'll be peace. How would Hizdahr have any influence over that without being involved with the Sons of the Harpy? So that's kind of the reasoning used. Now, I do think Hizdahr could possibly be involved. I don't think he's as high up as people think. I think Hizdahr is more of a puppet, and he's seeing how much power and stuff he gets out of this by becoming king and all that. So let's take a look at who I really think is the leader of the Sons of the Harpy. Now, I believe the leader is the Green Grace. Now, there's a couple reasons I want to point to. If you look at the Sons of the Harpy, it's kind of a religious thing, right? And the Harpy is supposed to be kind of a female. So if you are a son of the Harpy, that would be saying you serve a woman and you're kind of a son of her, right? So I think right away, it definitely could be a female. Now, if we look at the females in Dany's story right now that are very major and could have an influence on the Sons of the Harpy, the Green Grace is the major one. She's a priestess of the Giscari religion. He's kind of associated with the Harpy kind of ideology going on, right? And if we even take a look deeper at when Dany and the Green Grace have conversations, it's very much a lot of covering up what the Green Grace is saying. She's saying trying to say it with some odd courtesy, but if you read between the lines, it's really not great what the Green Grace is saying to Dany. Basically saying you're an outsider, you're a foreigner, you'll never kind of fit in here. And it kind of makes you feel like that the Green Grace is pushing Dany to two choices. You either assimilate into the culture and you become, Marinese and all that, and you follow their cultures completely, or you leave. That is really what she's saying to Dany. And Dany, kind of being younger and maybe not understanding this as much, kind of doesn't take that in, right? She doesn't really understand that the Green Grace is being pretty not nice to her, right? And it's interesting the way that kind of plays out. Also, something that's interesting in their conversations is the Green Grace goes into very heavy detail about the political climate of Meereen, and also kind of what, the history of Slaver's Bay, right? So there's a lot of things where the Green Grace is giving Dany history lessons and talking about a lot of things that the Sons of the Harpy believe in. Now, what I think is really, really damning evidence, if you think about the reason why Dany actually marries Hizdahr, or even that comes into her head, is because the Green Grace heavily pushes it. The Green Grace heavily pushes Dany to marry Hizdahr. And not only does she do that, but she also heavily pushes for the fighting pits to be reopened. Now, the fighting pits is where we have the kind of assassination attempt on Dany's life with the locusts. So a lot of things kind of you can start to piece together here with the Green Grace and how she could be manipulating the entire situation. And I think this also fits Dany's character, because Dany is very trusting of older women that kind of appear helpful. Miriam Azdur, right? It's kind of a mirror to that in book 1, where we as an audience in book 5 can tell that the Green Grace is not really a nice person to Dany. Miriam Azdur comes off a little differently. Miriam Azdur has a kind of a weird vibe to her, but she does kind of seem like she's trying to help Dany. This one kind of seems completely different. And I think Dany just trusts women more than she does men in this world, because, I think this makes sense just normally. I think women will tend to trust other women more than they will a man, because women, will have more experiences with other women. Men, it's the same way, right? So I think that makes a lot of sense and will be a good tie-in and throwback to book 1. I think another interesting thing that is very apparent is when the Green Grace talks about the hostages. Why would the Green Grace specifically bring up the hostages and what Dany would kind of do with them? Would Dany be able to kill them? And Dany kind of goes, not really. But the Green Grace, why would she ask this information? And why would Dany tell her? Right? Because this situation, right, the hostages is meant to kind of not let the Sons of the Harpy kill, because she will kill the children. If the Green Grace knows that she's not going to kill the children, what's stopping her from planning out more Sons of the Harpy attacks? Right? And not only that, is the Green Grace seems like she knows a lot of information about these attacks before she's really given the information by Dany. So, looking at all that information, it's like, how does she know this much information? Right? She's trying to gain more information from Dany and knowing more about Dany and kind of playing with her emotionally and psychologically. Now, next up, I want to talk about all of the, prisoners or hostages that the Yunkish give back to Hizdahr towards the end of A Dance with Dragons. They're all kind of people that are related to Hizdahr. They're none of the real important hostages, right? And they even killed Daenerys's admiral at the time, even though he had no ships, so he wasn't that important. So all of the people that are close to Dany are the ones that are left with the Yunkish. And it makes me think that the Green Grace orchestrates this as well. The Green Grace goes, okay, give us back some of these hostages, the people that I actually care about, and then you can kill the rest. Or you can keep them, whatever, it doesn't matter. So I just think there's a lot of things going on with the Green Grace to me that are a little bit suspicious. I think Hizdahr could very likely be involved in this whole situation, but I think it makes way more sense for the Green Grace to be the one responsible. If we even look at George's writing, George a lot of the times does not like to give us the answer. He likes to give us a bunch of hints and then eventually kind of pay it off and reveal it. Does the reveal of Hizdahr kind of fit that writing that he is the Sons of the Harpy? Not really, because Hizdahr is really the obvious choice. He's kind of the one that is always around when kind of bad things happen, where it can be kind of pinned on him, and I just don't think it makes sense. Well, it does make sense to a degree, but I think the Green Grace makes more sense. I think Shavepate has a personal bias against Hizdahr, which is another reason why he heavily pushes for him. But that is more or less the video. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you guys learned something in this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.